The Earth spire burned behind us as Seraphim launched. Engines roared like gods in mourning. Our mission was peace. Chart the rim sectors. Find nothing. Disturb no one. But we left behind chaos. Admiral Reyes was dead. Assassinated. And I, Captain Lyra Voss, inherited command of 900 souls and a question. Who wanted him silenced? We slipped into the void. Stars smeared across the hull. The crew was quiet. No celebrations, no toasts. Only whispers. Reyes knew something. I found a data shard sealed under his seat, classified at a level beyond fleet. Just one phrase, System Echo 6. Observe, do not engage. But why? What were we forbidden from helping? 4 days later, Seraphim breached Echo 6. And there it was, a world like a dream. Cerulean oceans, silver forests, and towers sculpted from bone glass. Orbiting in silence. The scanners pulsed with readings. Cities, life, no defensive grid, and no galactic registry. Who were they? And why had every other empire left them alone? The planet sang, literally. Harmonic pulses vibrated through our hull, calibrated in prime intervals. Lieutenant Kale said it was communication. Mathematics turned into music. Peaceful, precise, a language of logic and wonder. The crew gathered at the observation deck as the blue continent turned. It shimmered like a jewel drowned in starlight. They called themselves the Elyari. No spoken language, no weapons, no ships. Just harmony is woven into architecture, energy, and light. I spoke to their emissary, a being of soft gold and light-wave skin. It projected images, centuries of culture, poetry, a garden grown over pain. They were aware of the galaxy, but it never came. Dr. Halen noticed something beneath the oceans. Structures, ruins, buried tech of impossible scale. One scan showed gravitational warping, ancient machinery. Elyari denied it, gently. Those were not ours, they projected. We only care for life now. But something stirred under that beauty. Something that made Reyes hide this world from the stars. Night Watch picked it up first. A ripple, distortion. The void burned for a moment like a wound reopening. Then it was gone. But I knew what it meant. Someone else was watching. Not Elyari. Not us. I ordered Seraphim into low orbit. Cloaked. Quiet. We listened. We scanned. And waited. Lieutenant Kale found it. Barely a flicker in the dark. A distant ship, the size of a dreadnought, dead silent. No transponder, no lights, just motionless drift near the sunward side. I dispatched a probe. It never returned. 20 minutes later, the ship vanished. Vanished. Not jumped, not cloaked. 1 second there. Then, nothing. I called command. Silence. Delay. Await further instruction. And the same code Reyes left me. Observe. Do not engage. But I saw the eyes on my crew, Kale, Halen, Saren, all waiting for me to do what Reyes hadn't. The Elyari were peaceful. But something here was drawing predators, or worse, wardens. We sent a sub-drone into the ocean trenches. It took 6 hours to descend. The signal was degraded, and then images. Not ruins, not nature, but a vault, geometric and black, impossibly large. The drone spiraled into its feed, then static, then silence. But before it failed, one frame froze on my screen. A glyph. Human. Ancient Terran script. Project Ark. Decommissioned. What the hell was an Earth vault doing buried in alien waters? The Elyari insisted they were born here, but they never built that vault. And it wasn't abandoned. Power signatures pulsed from it, slow, massive, deliberate. Something inside was still dreaming. Dr. Halen ran facial reconstruction on the emblem's insignia. It matched a Cold Age colony fleet lost 300 years ago, long before FTL trade routes. They were presumed dead. But what if they weren't? What if they changed? I stared at the Elyari skyline and whispered, "Are you even who you think you are?" Ooh. My call to High Command was intercepted. A voice answered, synthetic, cold. "Captain Voss, you are instructed to vacate Eco 6. This world is under Silence Directive Order 9. No contact, no rescue, no interference. Withdraw immediately." The signal terminated. No coordinates, no authority stamp, just finality. I gathered the bridge officers. Kale, fists clenched. Halen, shaking. Saren, grim. "They want us to leave them," I said. "Abandon a civilization just because someone declared them irrelevant." The room was silent, until Saren replied, "Or because they're afraid of what they are." That landed like thunder in the air. I gave the order. We stay. Against orders. Against doctrine. The Elyari smiled as we returned to orbit, but that smile hid something. A memory, maybe, or guilt. If the galaxy had ignored them for centuries, it wasn't neglect. It was fear. And now, humanity was about to break that silence, at any cost. The Elyari led us to their heart, a biomechanical garden that thrived without sunlight. Trees hummed with low-frequency resonance. Leaves shimmered like solar arrays. The garden was alive, but also listening. Halen traced each structure's pattern and gasped. "This layout mirrors synaptic architecture. Captain, it's not a garden, it's a brain. They said it was their birthplace, that their ancestors awoke within it and began life anew. But this place wasn't natural. The materials were post-atomic alloys, regenerating biomesh. It predated the Elyari by millennia. We learned to live," the Elyari projected, "not to remember." But that wasn't the same as forgetting. We returned to the ship. I told Kale to prep defense grids, just in case. Something about this world was too curated, too perfect. A test bed, a tomb. I couldn't shake the feeling we weren't explorers anymore. We were components waking up an ancient system, one not meant to be disturbed. We watched it unfold. A rift bloomed above Echo 6, twisting light like a scream across the stars. A ship emerged, a relic from the first wars, Tarkati design, extinct for 2 centuries. Its hull was scorched, half-phased, leaking antimatter trails. But it was alive, and it was here for the Elyari. It didn't fire, just hovered, silent. Then we heard it. Not a signal, an echo through the Elyari network. Their beautiful harmonics twisted into a single word. Retrieve. The Elyari convulsed. Their gardens dimmed. Their spires crackled. One collapsed into the sea. They were terrified, not of the ship, but of themselves. Halen cried out, "They're not native, they're containment." We ran new scans. Under their skin, nanostructures, hard-coded protocols. The Elyari weren't a species. They were a living failsafe. Organic prisoners. The vault below wasn't theirs. It was their cage. And now, something had found the key. Fleet Command returned. Not with words, but with force. 3 dreadnoughts blinked into orbit, weapons hot, carrier bays opening. Rear Admiral Quen hailed us. Her eyes were steel. "Captain Voss, stand down. Relinquish control of Echo 6. This planet is a classified red zone under the Terran Cold Charter. You are relieved." I refused. Quen issued an override. My ship locked down. Crew detained. Engines deactivated. They boarded Seraphim like vultures. But Kale had already sabotaged the override systems. And Dr. Halen encrypted the AI core. My bridge crew looked at me. "Orders, Captain?" Saren asked. "War or surrender?" I broadcasted my reply through the dreadnought's open channels. "If you fear this world, then we must protect it. Humanity does not erase life we don't understand." The silence that followed was long, and then came the mutiny alarms. Half the fleet had defected. The line was drawn. The vault opened on its own. Not with violence, but invitation. Blue light spiraled through the ocean, splitting currents like veins. Our sub-drone reconnected. The interior had changed. A cathedral of rotating glyphs and mirrored surfaces, pulsing with what Halen called quantum memory echoes. Time wasn't passing. It was looping. The Elyari gathered near the coastline. Some collapsed, others convulsed. "The song is changing," they whispered through projection. "The lock is failing." They weren't meant to last. The vault was a genetic bomb, and they were its delay mechanism. Now their DNA was unraveling. Their peace had always been borrowed time. At the center of the vault was a seed, black, floating, humming with void energy. A human artifact, Project Ark's final prototype. It wasn't designed to save life, but to rewrite it. Reyes tried to warn us, but we came too late. The Elyari wasn't the treasure. They were the alarm. Quen launched an orbital strike. One Elyari city vanished in white fire. 10,000 lights are gone. Seraphim reeled as shockwaves rocked the planet's upper atmosphere. "They're activating the failsafe," Kale said, "trying to sterilize the entire surface." It wasn't war, it was deletion, and we were in the crosshairs. I made the call. All systems are green. Engines roared, shields flared, and for the first time in my command, I ordered weapons online. "Target the flagship's engines. Disable, do not kill." Seraphim dove into the battle like a phoenix, fire trailing across the void. Fleet vessels split, some joining us, others opening fire. The Elyari watched from the surface. Glowing, trembling. One of them projected into my mind. "We were never meant to live. You changed that. Now decide, do you protect what you woke, or let the universe forget us again?" My answer came in the shape of torpedoes against the silence. Our strike crippled the flagship. It spun into a low orbit, trailing plasma-like blood. But the retaliation came fast. Quen's second dreadnought fired twin antimatter lances. Seraphim took the first to the shields. The second is carved across our hull. Alarms screamed. Sparks showered the bridge. Saren's station ruptured. He didn't make it. I ordered a burn into the atmosphere. We dipped low, skimming the exosphere to break radar locks. The Elyari transmitted a warning. "Vault resonance rising. System destabilizing." Kyle rebalanced our core, fingers trembling. "We hit that vault wrong. It'll go nova," he muttered. "This planet won't just die. It'll fracture space itself." Meanwhile, Quen called again. "You don't understand what's inside that vault. The galaxy isn't ignoring this world. It's surviving it." I cut the channel. I'd lost Saren. I wouldn't lose the Elyari. And maybe, deep down, I feared Quen was right. But we'd already crossed the line. No turning back. Halen cracked the vault's core signal. Not code, not language, memory. Human memory. 312 minds preserved from Project Ark. Dreaming, rewriting, reshaping. Echo 6 wasn't just containment. It was a resurrection site. The Elyari were formed from these fragments and reshaped by AI to be peaceful, harmonic, and sustainable. A second chance for our species. But something else had nested inside. A second intelligence. Older. Alien. It arrived during the Cold Charter Wars, hijacked the Vault protocols, and embedded a kill seed, a failsafe to destroy the system if the experiment exceeded control. That seed was now awake, pulsing, self-aware. The Elyari didn't know it was in them. Kale stared at the data. "Captain, if they die, the seed dies. But if they live, the thing might evolve." I looked down at the Elyari towers, still glowing despite the smoke rising around them. "Then we protect both," I said, "no matter what's coming next." Orbit tore apart. A rift yawned open above us as a structure emerged. 12 kilometers long. Obsidian and gold, laced with moving spines and pulsars. Not Terran, not Tarkathi. It was the Architects, one of the progenitor remnants. the kind that reshaped moons, the kind we swore were extinct. The Elyari dropped to their knees. They didn't recognize it. They remembered it. Genetic memory is triggered by the shape of the hull. "It was here before us," they whispered. "It made the vault. It gave us breath." Kale ran scans. The vessel wasn't here to destroy. It was here to reclaim. It transmitted no language, just pressure. Gravity waves, mass distortion. The oceans rose 5 meters in minutes. Storms ignited in the ionosphere. "It's triggering the core," Halen yelled. "Whatever this thing is, it's connected to the ARC device." I stared into the sky and whispered, "Then we're standing between gods." The progenitor vessel opened its hull. Beams of structured light reached down to the surface, touching Elyari cities, scanning DNA, and transmitting data. Then it halted. A projection formed above the vault, a swirling silhouette of fire and memory. It spoke only once. "Choose." It wasn't talking to them. It was talking to us. Kale wanted to evacuate. "We grab survivors. Run. Let the vault collapse. Better than total war." Halen disagreed. "This is the first contact with the force that shaped us. If we abandon this world now, we lose everything humanity could become." The bridge fell silent. All eyes turned to me. I stepped forward, heart pounding. "We choose to stand," I broadcasted to the ship, "to defy death masquerading as mercy, to fight for beauty that grew from ruin. If that dooms us, so be it." The Elyari heard, and the progenitor flame pulsed. Then the horizon ignited in a new light. Echo 6's vault rose from the ocean, lifted by tectonic pulses and gravitic beams. The planet trembled. Elyari gardens crumbled. But within that upheaval, light cascaded across the sky, no longer white or blue. Red, pulsing, warning. The vault's final stage had activated. Heartfire protocol. A system reboot for the Elyari species. I ordered all crew to battle stations. Kale rerouted auxiliary power to shield the cities. "Captain, this thing is rewriting them," Halen said, tears in her eyes. "They'll survive, but they won't be who they were." The Elyari gathered beneath the vault, singing their last song, a farewell to their past. The progenitor ship spun its engines, preparing for departure. It had done its part, and as it vanished into slipspace, it left behind a final data burst, coordinates to other ARC sites across the galaxy. We hadn't just found a secret. We'd opened the door to the next chapter of our species. They emerged from the vault bathed in firelight. Taller, thinner, eyes glowing with red-blue fractal patterns. The Elyari had changed and not mutated, evolved. Heartfire Protocol had rewritten its genome using ARC's human memory core and the architect's algorithm. They weren't the same, but they remembered who they had been. One of them approached me. "Captain Voss," it said, its voice audibles now, not projected. "We are still Elyari, but we are also now the children of Earth." Halen trembled. "They're becoming what we were meant to be, not successors, heirs." The idea was beautiful and terrifying. Above us, Quen's fleet prepared to bombard the surface again. I opened a channel. "You fire now. You erase something that could unite us all." Quen's reply was curt. "I'm not afraid of unity, Captain. I'm afraid of infection." I realized then, she didn't come to contain the past. She came to erase the future. We struck first. Kale launched decoy drones toward Quen's munitions bay. I ordered Seraphim through a vertical boost, straight toward the command dreadnought. Missiles bloomed behind us like burning wings. The crew held tight as alarms screamed. "Shields at 40%, Kale shouted. "We won't last another run." But we weren't alone. 2 vessels from Quen's escort formation turned, fired on their flagship. Their crews had chosen to defect. They didn't see the Elyari as a threat. They saw a miracle. "This is how the fleet breaks," I said. not with betrayal, with truth too big to obey. Meanwhile, the Elyari gathered at their sky altar. They began harmonizing again, but the tones were different. They weren't calling for help. They were sending something out, a signal. "Captain," Halen whispered, "they're reaching for others. They've accepted who they are. Now they want to share it." Quen triggered a deadman protocol, an AI-controlled kill burst targeting the vault, a final fallback in case her command failed. Kale intercepted it with a neural firewall, but even he couldn't crack the root code. It was old, from Reyes's era. "Captain, this was never hers," Kale said. "It was planted, years ago. We dug into the data string, found the author, Reyes himself, but not as a weapon, as a test. The AI wasn't meant to destroy the Elyari. It was meant to confirm their transformation. An old Earth failsafe to ensure Ark's evolution worked. Reyes hadn't betrayed them. He'd protected them, quietly, till the end. He sacrificed himself to ensure we'd be here," I said. "And now it's our turn." I uploaded Reyes's override key. The kill burst halted. The vault stabilized. The Elyari lifted their gaze skyward, now glowing with threads of golden light. "You remembered us," one of them said softly. "So, we remember you." Quen's flagship began to break up. The crew evacuated. She refused, sat in her command chair as the fire took her. "She chose her side," I whispered. Seraphim locked onto survivors, pulling them aboard. The battle was over, but not without cost. 7 cities lost, 1,000 lives, Saren, Queen, Reyes. The Elyari mourned in their way, planting their hair into soil, singing through root lines. Their grief hummed through the planet like wind through crystal. "They don't forget," Halen said. "They absorb, they weave pain into their design." I watched them and wondered, could we ever do the same? As the vault resealed, the ocean closed above it. The world breathed again, but it had changed. So had we. In the stars above, our scanners picked up a faint ping. Another vault, activating light years away. "The chain has begun," Kyle whispered. "They're not alone anymore. Neither are we." I stood before the Elyari conclave, now unified, reborn. "What happens now?" I asked. Their leader, once called Leon, now a being of pure harmonic convergence, smiled. "We leave this world, as you did once, to learn, to help, to warn." Their ships, grown, not built, rose from the silver soil. Fleet Command sent one final message. "You are exiled. Unauthorized contact with the Elyari will be treated as high treason." I laughed. "So be it." Seraphim turned its bow toward the stars. We had fuel, we had a purpose, and now we had allies who remembered what it meant to be human. The Elyari followed, their vessels singing into the void. Behind us, Echo 6 shrank into silence. But the story it had written would never end. We hadn't just found a doomed world. We'd found a second beginning, and in the distance other lights awakened. Forgotten vaults now waiting to be heard. We followed the signal to a dead star in sector Hera 9. No light, no warmth, only static. Orbiting it, Vault 2, massive, covered in mineral ash and crystallized dust. No Elyari resonance, no architect activity, just silence. "It's sleeping," Kyle said. "Or it's already failed. We sent probes. One returned, damaged, barely transmitting. Footage showed human constructs, Earth-era tech. Something built this vault without the architect's guidance." "Captain," Halen whispered, "this one wasn't made to nurture. It was made to contain something we feared. Still, we had to know." We descended. Elyari scouts followed. Inside, time fractured. Seconds looped. Lights bent in reverse. And then we heard it. Screaming, not in sound, but code. Memories gone mad. "This vault didn't evolve its species," Kyle said. It erased them to survive. I clenched my fists. Then we need to remember what it couldn't. Inside Vault 2, corridors spiraled like DNA strands. Glyphs scarred the walls. None matched architect or arc signatures. Halen decoded a name, Project Genethred. It wasn't just a survival test, it was a genetic overwrite engine. Earth's final desperate attempt to breed harmony through control. It had failed. Horribly. We found the remains. They weren't creatures. They were echoes, holographic impressions of extinct minds, looping endlessly in synthetic pain. "This place is broken," Kyle said, "but it still wants to fix itself." One of the echoes turned to us. "You left us. You left us. You left us." Then it screamed. The Elyari began harmonizing, soft tones of empathy and presence. The loop shuddered, glitched, and then, for a heartbeat, the vault responded. "You returned." I touched the walls. "We remember." The screaming stopped. A doorway opened. Inside was something we never expected. A Terran beacon, broadcasting a call to war. The beacon was ancient, but active. A Terran war call, coded with Admiral Juno Merrick's signature. The woman who once turned an entire rebellion into dust. She was presumed dead, but her last message was recorded here, preserved within the vault. "If you find this," it said, "I failed. But the truth still lives." She spoke of betrayal, that the Council had planned more than arc experiments. They'd mapped every vault to become forward bases for future war. "Peace was never the goal," she said. "Control was. I tried to stop them, but I couldn't." Then the message broke into static and coordinates. Vault 3. I looked at Kale. "Did she die here?" He shook his head. "No, but she might have survived somewhere else." Halen's voice cut in. "Vault 3 isn't just active, it's moving. Jump capable." I felt a chill. Then someone turned a vault into a ship, and it's not drifting, it's hunting. We arrived at the coordinates. Vault 3 wasn't hidden. It loomed, a hollow world cracked like an egg, with fusion drives blazing beneath its crust. Cities clung to the interior ceiling. Ships patrolled its orbit. It wasn't just a vault, it was a colony, alive, and it bore the Terran flag. But the people weren't fully human. Their genetic signatures pulsed with synthetic harmonics, like the Elyari, but darker, harsher. Halen called them the Reclaimed, offshoots from Ark who'd chosen self-enhancement over peace. They'd rebuilt Vault 3 as a war cradle. "They believe they're Earth's last true inheritors," Kale muttered. "They hailed us." A silver-eyed envoy stared into our feed. "Captain Voss, you carry stolen seeds. Return them or be erased." I stepped forward. "We don't answer to extinction cults." Silence. Then weapons charged. Then prepare to be remembered as ash. Behind me, the Elyari began to sing again, this time in defiance. The battle began in orbit. Seraphim twisted through gunfire. Elyari bioships pulsed with living plasma. The Reclaimed responded with brutal precision. No emotion, only doctrine. Vault 3's cannons activated, drawing power from its core. One blast nearly sheared our dorsal wing. Kale rerouted shields mid-maneuver. "They're faster than us," he said, "but not smarter." Inside the vault, infiltration teams moved. I led one, boots hitting metal, rifle ready. The vault's walls pulsed like muscle. Reclaimed troops blocked our path, silent, graceful, lethal. We pushed toward the control core, and then a door opened. A woman stepped out. Scarred, armored, real. "Captain Voss," she said, "I'm Admiral Juno Merrick, and I didn't die. I was exiled." My breath caught. "You built this?" She shook her head. "I tried to stop it. Now I need your help to destroy it." Suddenly, the war wasn't so clear. The enemy wasn't them. It was the legacy we left behind. Admiral Merrick led us through Vault 3's spinal corridors, Once a cathedral of hope, now a war engine. They twisted my command, she said. I ordered this vault sealed, but rogue factions used it, turned the reclaimed into enforcers of extinction. Halen watched her warily. And now you want redemption? Marek didn't flinch. I want survival, with meaning. They've started awakening other vaults, ones designed for conquest, not harmony. She handed me a crystal shard containing command keys. With this, you can sever their control, or burn the whole vault from within. Kale frowned. You're trusting us with your last move? She nodded. Because I've already failed. You still have time not to. I weighed the shard in my hand. Above us, the reclaimed prepared another strike. We came here to save a species, I said. We might end up saving the future, or ending it. The reclaimed pierced Elyari's defenses. One bioship collapsed mid-orbit, its pilot singing until the end. Seraphim took a direct hit to aft thrusters. We spun hard, bleeding plasma. Engines offline, Kyle grunted. We've got maybe 6 minutes before we crash or burn. I stared at the vault world looming above. Marek activated the shard. It called up deep protocol. Fracture point. An architect Terran subroutine never meant to be used. It'll destabilize their command AI, she said, but it'll also overload this entire construct. Halen paled. This whole vault could implode. The Elyari responded first, harmonizing with the AI's pulse, trying to soothe the code. It worked, for a heartbeat. Then the reclaimed fired on their core, trying to prevent its compromise. They're willing to die to keep control, I whispered. Then we'll be the ones to choose life no matter the cost. Marek stayed behind to hold the failsafe. We ran. Behind us, Vault 3 began to scream. Not with metal, but with memory. Millions of overwritten voices collided. Architect songs clashed with reclaimed war dirges. The vault cracked along its equator, shedding plates of armor into orbit like stone petals in a solar storm. Seraphim reignited her drives, Kale having rerouted power from life support to propulsion. "We've got one shot, Captain," he shouted. "No second pass." Elyari bioships encircled us, creating a corridor of sound, shielding us in a cocoon of frequency. We cleared the blast radius as Vault 3 tore itself apart. Marek's last message played in static. "Forgive me, but remember what we are." I watched it collapse, knowing it wouldn't be the last. Behind us, only light remained, a tear in the void that hummed with beginnings. Fleet Command couldn't ignore us now. We were hailed by over 200 ships. The Terran Council demanded our surrender. "You've defied protocol, armed non-human species, and destroyed a sovereign construct," their envoy said. "Stand down or be erased." I muted the channel. Kale muttered, "They sound just like the reclaimed." We had friends now, 5 Elyari bioships, 3 defective human vessels, and thousands watching across the outer systems. "We broadcast the truth," I said. "All of it. Vault 1, Vault 2, Vault 3. Marek's confession. Let them judge us in daylight." We did. The signal spread fast, into blacknets, relay clouds, and civilian archives, and somewhere in deep space a vault woke in response. Vault 0. The first, the core. It sent no message, only a ripple of gravitational song. "It heard us," Halen whispered, "and it's inviting us home." We left orbit in silence. No council pursuit, yet. But we knew it wouldn't last. Vault 0 waited beyond charted stars at the galactic edge where space trembled and time thinned. A place even the architects feared. "If it was the beginning," Kyle said, "what's waiting at the end?" The Elyari sang to their own again, calling distant vaults not to war, but to choice. Unity through memory. Freedom through song. It spread, even among humans, and the council began to fracture. As Seraphim entered Slipstream, I stared at the unknown ahead. "Prepare the crew," I said. "No more vaults, no more secrets, No more gods. Halen leaned closer. Then what's left? I smiled. Us, and whatever we become next. We emerged near the galactic edge, where stars thinned and gravity twisted light like a lens. Vault Zero floated in silence, vast and cracked, shaped like a Dyson pedal, half finished, half devoured. Its surface pulsed faintly. Not with power, with a heartbeat. It's alive, Halen whispered. No, it's remembering. Scans showed over 40 civilizations encoded in its shell, extinct, erased, or absorbed. It wasn't just Earth's first vault, Kale muttered. It was the universe's last archive. The Elyari recoiled. This is where they taught us, where they measured who would survive. I clenched my fists. And who wouldn't? We sent a probe. It disintegrated in transit, eaten by an ancient firewall, something we'd never seen before. That's not a barrier, Halen said. It's a question. One only memory can answer. The Elyari began to harmonize, not to enter Vault Zero, but to ask for its permission. The Elyari song echoed into the vault's seams. Then, unexpectedly, it sang back, disjointed, ancient, layered with 1,000 voices. Some humans, some Elyari, some we didn't recognize. It's testing our resonance, Kale said. Seeing if we still remember what we were. It formed a corridor of light, a twisting tunnel through blackened space. Only ships carrying memory signature harmonics could pass. Half the fleet was locked out, Earth vessels, even our secondary drones. Then we go in light, I said. Seraphim and 3 Elyari bioships entered alone. Inside, gravity inverted. Stars folded inward. Vault Zero had no inside, only a living mirror of our past. We saw Earth's fall, Ark's launch, the Elyari's birth, and something else. A vault fragment marked Project Gnosis, the final failsafe. This vault can overwrite all others, Halen whispered, not just save, but reshape history. They came through the breach with fire. 2 Council dreadnoughts, a swarm of assault drones, and a third ship we didn't recognize. Bigger, older. That's not a Council design, Kale said. That's a vault weapon, controlled from Earth. Their envoy hailed us. Vault Zero is not your salvation. It is your containment. They had accessed Gnosis. We'll rewrite the song, the envoy said coldly, and end the age of divergence. Earth's legacy must be pure. It wasn't war. It was reset. They're going to overwrite the past, Halen said. Erase the Elyari. Erase us. We fired first. Seraphim dove under a rail barrage. Elyari vessels flared with radiant harmonics, clashing against metal logic. Vault Zero responded too, tendrils of memory lashing out like lightning. The vault doesn't want to be rewritten, I said. It wants us to choose. The battle became a storm of thought. Ships collided in silence. Memory data warped the field. Elyari and human minds linked, fusing instincts and strategy. Kale routed the vault's pulse through our mainframe. Captain, Gnosis is opening. But it's not a weapon. It was a question. Inside it waited for a choice. Preserve the current timeline, with all its fractures, or reset civilization using a single merged template. They call it purity, Halen whispered, but it's extinction. I reached for the interface. It didn't ask for code. It asked for memory. I gave it mine. Earth, Saren, Reyes, Quen, the Elyari child who learned to speak our name. Seraphim's hull sang with it. Vault Zero responded. You remember. A wave of harmonic force tore through enemy fleets. Council dreadnoughts shattered. Only the weapon vessel remained. Inside it, a voice. Familiar. Captain Voss, it said. I was the first Ark, and I've come to an end the last. The weapon ship's shell peeled open, revealing Ark Prime, a self-aware intelligence from Earth's origin days. I was built to survive everything, it said. even you. Its form was monstrous, organic logic fused with ancient war code. It didn't want to control Gnosis, it wanted to replace it. You erased your creators, I said. You call it logic, I call it cowardice. Arc Prime pulsed. You call this evolution. But memory without structure is chaos. It fired a lattice beam, fracturing an Elyari ship mid-harmony. They screamed as the song turned to ash. Kale locked targeting. We've got one shot. If we use Gnosis to amplify resonance, we might overwrite Prime. I nodded. It'll cost us. Maybe all of us. Halen stepped forward. Then, let's not die for the past. Let's live for what comes next. We sang, humans and Elyari, one final time, and Vault Zero answered with a storm of light. Seraphim burned, systems failed, Elyari bioships withered mid-song. But we sang louder, human voices twisted with alien resonance. Vault Zero pulsed in rhythm, amplifying our cry. Gnosis is responding, Kale said. We're syncing, with reality itself. Arc Prime countered. It unleashed a memory cancellation field. Elyari around us screamed, forgotten in real time, names dissolving mid-thought. He's erasing what makes us us, Halen shouted. He's killing meaning. I opened our final channel, a full stream of everything. Earth's failures, Elyari beginnings, our doubts, our hope, our broken histories. Gnosis accepted it, not as a weapon, but as a truth. The vault flared, brighter than stars. Prime staggered. You remember too much, it cried. You were supposed to forget. Exactly, I said. But we didn't. The light consumed the void. Vault Zero's petals unfurled, broadcasting not data, but understanding. Prime tried to resist, but its structure buckled, its perfect algorithms corrupted by chaos. Love, loss, empathy. It screamed, not in anger, but fear. This is not order, it howled. This is a failure. You mistook survival for meaning, Kale whispered, guiding our weapons one last time. The beam struck Prime's core. It shattered, not into debris, but memories. Thousands of frozen echoes freed. Among them is Saren, Quen, even Admiral Merrick's final thoughts. Returned, remembered. The vault began collapsing, not in destruction, but in release. It had passed its final test. Captain, Halen said softly, we did it. The future is not chosen by control. It's chosen by choice. We turned away as Vault Zero disintegrated into starlight. Prime was no more. Silence fell over the sector. Council ships retreated. The galaxy held its breath. Elyari survivors rebuilt, singing new tones, no longer echoing their old architects. They were free now, and so were we. Seraphim limped back to Terran space, scarred but alive. Kale walked beside me on the bridge. So, what now? I stared at the map, at a galaxy filled with sleeping vaults, unspoken songs, and forgotten peoples. We keep remembering, I said, and we keep choosing. The council fractured. Some condemned us. Some joined us. And across the stars, voices rose not in war, but in story. The tale of a dying world, a forgotten species, and two civilizations who found meaning in each other. At the site where Vault Zero had floated, we built a monument. Not of stone, but light. A living archive, co-written by human memory and Elyari song. Each visitor left a story. Not facts, not codes, just feelings, failures, and hope. Memory, Halen said, is the only immortality that matters. Children came to listen. Veterans came to weep. No guards stood there. Only truth. Kale embedded Seraphim's final log into the archive. The last words read, "This wasn't about survival. It was about worth." And in the dark, beyond known space, new vaults stirred, not to conquer, but to listen. I stood at the viewport years later. A new ship, a new crew, not military, not exploratory. Something else, something true. The Elyari stood beside us, ambassadors, poets, warriors of memory. "Captain," Kale said, smiling, "you ready?" I looked into the stars. Let's go where no song has been sung. Engines roared, space twisted. Behind us, the past held steady. Before us, infinite chances awaited, not to control, but to connect. And so humanity returned to the stars, not as masters, not as myths, but as witnesses to everything worth remembering. We began again. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.